and welcome to Stitchy's World. My name is Caitlin and today I'm going to talk about all of the things I'm excited about, which include, but are not limited to, knitting and crochet and some knitting and crochet books. So if you're interested, I invite you to stick around and let's get started. Okay, so my first finished object today is actually a Christmas gift for Mom that I have not given to her yet, and she will probably see this video before I get to give them to her, but she's already seen the gift when it was in progress. So without further ado, it socks! Ooh! So I made these, these are 2-at-once magic loop toe-up socks. So starting with the toe and worked my way up to the cuff, and I used Patton's Crochet. I've got my notes right here, so let me tell you. Patton's Crochet yarn in Mexicala stripes, and it's just a vanilla sock otherwise. I really loved working with the yarn because the stripes happened sort of unexpectedly. I never knew when it was going to change. I was a little bit surprised that the two skeins didn't end up with the same stripes, because obviously you can tell the stripe patterns are very different. But that's okay. I don't think she'll mind. But they feel really nice. This yarn is a superwash yarn. It's 75% washable wool and 25% nylon. So as I discovered in a previous and shared in a previous video, the nylon is hidden within the ply and it looks like a little strand of dental floss, but I haven't exposed it via throwing it in the washing machine. So anyway, here they are. They're finished finally. They were going really fast, and then I panicked because I thought that I did them way too long. Mom tried them on and she didn't think they were too long, so I said, well, if you don't think they're too long, you're the only person that really needs to care if they fit. So I kept going. The heel, this time the heel got me. Now I've done one other pair. It's like something floating. I've done one other pair of 2 at a time toe up magic loop socks, and I don't remember having this problem. But when I got to the heel, I, for some reason or another, could not get my head to flip the process. So I know when I usually do, and I've done several pairs of cuff down, I do the heel flap, then I turn the heel, then I pick up for the gusset, then I start my decreases to get back to the, across the instep and all that. Well, this has you starting a slip stitch heel flap when the knitting, I don't know why I'm showing you my foot, when the knitting gets up to about parallel with your ankle bone, they say start the heel flap, which I did. And then it has you turn, which is not much of a turn, but you do turn the heel, and I did that fine. Then it has you continue the slip stitch heel up the back of it. So I'm actually, ooh, don't you hate that your hair gets knit into things? Sorry, Mom. So I had the slip stitch heel on the bottom here to give some extra padding and cushion and durability, and then also on the back. So once it got time to pick up the gusset, I, for the life of me, could not remember where the gusset was. I know now, but it just felt so backwards to me when I was doing it. So anyway, I did pick it up, and I actually did it right the first time. The thing that got me then was when to shift all of your stitches down and work on the second sock, and then turn around and do the magic loop thing and go back. I did so a section late. So what I ended up with was a pretty well distributed number of stitches on both of my needles of my magic loop, but the socks were cockeyed So I was no longer working at the beginning of where I had cast on. Everything was tilted about 1/3, which made it look really odd going around for the first several rounds of the gusset. But once I got down decreased back to the cuff, everything kind of worked out. And it didn't affect the sock at all. It was just the way they were sitting on the needles because of the magic loop. So I kind of love them. I hope Mom likes them. I did a super stretchy bind off on the cuff because I know just for comfort of pulling them up, that's kind of the bind off that's preferred. They got a little bit ruffled to them, but I thought maybe ruffles are in, so I thought it would be fine. And plus, when you pull it taut over your calf, you're not going to see the ruffles. So there they are, some Mexicala striped socks. Merry Christmas, Mom. The next finished object I don't actually have here to show you because it was a gift for Christmas for my coworkers. I made 6 mini Christmas crochet stockings. They are by Sewrella, and it was a free pattern, and I just did the simple red and white stripe, and I actually was able to complete these mostly during my breaks, and my 15-minute breaks and my lunch breaks at work, with the exception of I did quite a bit that last night to get everything finished and to wrap them and stuff. But they were about yay big. I don't know if you'll be able to tell from the picture when they were finished. And I think they all really liked them. I paired it with, I wanted to get something that fit in the stocking, like a little chapstick. But I surprisingly couldn't find any chapstick that was just like a tube of chapstick without buying a really large quantity of chapsticks. And this is a job that I just started at the beginning of November, so I don't really know their preferences, and a lot of them have, people have different allergies and things. So I wanted to keep it pretty I wanted to keep it allergy friendly and generic enough. So I ended up getting Aaron's Thinking Putty that comes in a little tin. I got some over the summer and I absolutely love it. It's just got the same consistency as Silly Putty, but they all have different features. So mine that I got over the summer is like a midnight something or other. So it starts out purple, and as you work it, it turns blue. So it's most likely because of the heat in your hands. And the ones that I got for them were a treasure hunt. So each one had a different cute little charm inside and was a different color or consistency. Well, not consistency, but like one was glittery and clear looking. I think one was more, I'm not sure what the other ones were, but I think they liked them. I know at least one person uses hers at her desk almost every day. Like I can see it on her desk and I can see her working it in her hands. I use mine at my desk every once in a while. Anyway, that's what I did. That was one of my finished objects. I went a little deep on that one. Next, if you've been following me at all, you know about the saga of Charlotte's linen stitch coat. Charlotte is a fox that I knit from the Knitted Animal Friends by Louise Crowther, and she wears a linen stitch coat, which has been trying my patience. I finally finished it. I actually finished it a couple months ago. I know it's been a while since I did this, and it is not perfect, let me tell you, but I'm not gonna worry about it. She's a fox. She's also an inanimate object, so it's really no problem. So this is Charlotte. You might also notice she has eyes now. Yeah, so here's her little coat. I think she's actually swimming in it, and keep in mind there's a dress that she should be wearing under her coat, but it's too big for her. I did not realize. I don't know why actually it came out so big, unless because I used the same yarn but just in a different color. Anyway, so this is her coat. Maybe it's supposed to be a little oversized since it's outerwear, and it's been now long enough that I can't, like, it's not fresh in my mind to tell you all the struggles that I had, but let me just tell you I struggled a lot with the linen stitch. It's really slow going, and every once in a while I would find myself off by 1 stitch so that there would get this, it almost looks like a scar. So I can show you on the back of her sleeve, you might be able to see. Here's one. You might be able to see, I mean, you could definitely see it in person, but on camera, you might be able to see one going over her shoulder. So, like I said, it's not perfect, but overall, like from the front of her, I think she looks really good. And I had to just tell myself it's good enough. Sometimes good enough is good enough. And I need to enjoy my knitting, and this had become something that I was no longer enjoying. So I'm just so glad it's finished. Then I finished her little messenger bag. I'll show you close up. This was really cute and did not take long at all. It was super fun to make, and it has a little button closure here. She still needs her dress, and that is coming up in the next segment, because I will show you my works in progress. I'm nearly done with it, but not quite. So Charlotte is well on her way to being a finished object, and I'm excited about that because this is one of the types of patterns that I love knitting the most, and I've stalled out on this one. I did like 3 of them in the summer, fall, and then because of this linen stitch coat, I just stalled out. But now I think I'm ready to get back in the game. So she's gonna hang out behind me. All right, now I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I have in progress. First off, I will show you Charlotte's dress, since we're on the subject. Her little dress is absolutely adorable. I love these top-down raglan patterns that Louise Crowther writes. They go really quick, they're really well written, and they look really cute when you're finished. Now, you see there's a bit of a mess going on at the bottom, and that's where I ran into trouble. So everything was going swimmingly, and I'm still dropping stitches as we speak, which I don't really want to be doing. I have to figure out so what happened was I was going along and I ran really low on my yellow yarn, which I believe is, oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, so I need to organize my life. Okay, so this is all the yellow yarn that I have left. And it's connected to things in the bag, so we're just gonna ignore that. So I decided, okay, I dropped my stitches again. Let me get these. So if you know me in real life, you know that I don't read the full pattern before I jump into something. So I got to the bottom of, the bottom of the dress, and the pattern says a hemmed picot bind off. I was like, that doesn't sound hard. Cool, I'll start that now. And it requires you to actually fold your knitting and pick up a purl ridge that's back about 8 rows, and that gives it a little bit thicker of a hem line. And then, so actually a hem, if you're curious, and it's not hard at all. Problem is I ran out of yarn. So it's supposed to be, so you pick up a purl bump 8 rounds down, then you knit 2 together from your right needle, then you do it again, and you keep doing that, and that's your bind off. Oh, and then you pass. Okay, so let me tell you again. Maybe it's not so easy. Okay, pick up purl bumps 8 rounds down, knit together with next stitch, do this again, then pass the bottom stitch over the top to cast off a stitch. Whatever, it's not that hard. I'm making it sound way more complicated than it is. So I started doing that, and I was like, I'm not gonna have enough to pick up 8 rounds down. So I only did 4 rounds, and I figured I would just make a little smaller hem. It didn't work. You can't skimp in that area. So what I needed to have done was stopped my knitting 4 rounds earlier and begun my cast off. You live and you learn. So, oh, that's why. Yeah, because there's an eyelet row. So when you end up folding it, you're gonna get these little cute little eyelets, which are the picot bumps. So it's just casting off by picking up from the purl ridge that you created at the start of that section. So really what I should do is pull it back considerably to the part where before all that business started and start that business earlier. So that's what I plan to do. It shouldn't take me long once I get to it, but like I said, I just kind of stalled out, and sometimes that happens in knitting. I think you'll understand. Hopefully you understand. The next work in progress is something you have not seen, I don't believe. So this is the Bryce vest. Okay, so I've been on a vest quest since the fall. Everyone was releasing their favorite vest pattern videos, and I was so on board with it, and I have a list of about 30 vest patterns that I was really excited to tell you about, and then I don't know what happened, and I just never got around to it. So I went thrifting, and I found this yarn, which I could probably show you a label, which will speak volumes. You could tell this is vintage. This is New Brunswick? No, Yarns Brunswick, 100% pure virgin wool. It's made in the USA. As far as my research could tell, I think it is a company that originated in the Philadelphia area quite a while ago. And I also read that there's two different versions, two different meanings of virgin wool. One can be that it's from a wait. I don't remember what they are, but there's two different meanings. There you have it. So this vest is something that I found in my Nomadic Knits issue 12, Utah, Nevada. And it's called the Bryce. I think it's after Bryce Canyon. And I really love it. I don't know why I'm showing you in the pattern book, because I can just put a picture up on the screen, which is going to be digital and clearer. So this is by Afifa Sayeed. It's a really simple construction. You start at the hem and you work up. It's a bottom up, and there's a cool little, I don't know if it's a canyon or something that you're working, and then yeah, the design on the front, and it's also on the back. And then you split under the arm, and you're going back and forth, and then you reattach to create armholes. I was afraid. I was like, these armholes look way too small. And then I realized it's because it sits so far off the shoulder. It's not actually like a shoulder hole. It's more of like an armhole down here. So that's where I'm at. And it's also reversible. I think this pattern is so cool. I really, really like this pattern. I actually think the reverse side makes the motif look even cooler. So the problem is I don't like it in this yarn. I think the yarn I chose, I held double because it calls for Aran weight. No, bulky, I believe. Bulky or chunky weight yarn. So I'm holding two of these together. There is zero drape, and the thing just feels so stiff. I haven't been able to try it on yet, but just knitting it, it feels really stiff. And I don't think it's something that's really fashionable to wear like that. So as much as I love it, and I think it would be really, really warm, I have no doubt it'll be really, really warm, I just don't think it's the right pattern for the yarn. I'm so close to finishing it that I'm wondering, should I finish it just to find out? But I see so many people sharing projects that they finished and then don't wear, and I realize the effort that I'm putting in now is not going to make me any more likely to want to wear it in the future if I just don't like the fit of it. So as much as it pains me to do so, I do think I'm frogging this. stay tuned and I will let you know next week what happened. If I frogged it or didn't. But I think I'm gonna. Because this yarn, I don't know what else to do with that yarn. It's, I don't know, maybe something single weight, I think. It's just too much. It's too bulky. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't even want to fold in half. Like, it's, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe it is fashionable. I don't know. I have to decide. Hopefully I can make up my mind and you'll see in the next video. Okay, my next work in progress is socks again. This time I'm doing cuff down socks, and these are going to be for my dad's birthday, which is January 17th. So here they are so far. I'm a big fan of the self-striping yarn, if you haven't been able to notice so far. This yarn is Loops and Threads. I can never remember. Perfect Pair, and it's a, there's no wool in it actually. Perfect Pair, super fine, 70% acrylic, 23% viscose from bamboo, and 7% polyester. So going from the Mexicala stripe socks that I made for my mom to these, the yarn is just night and day. This is very, very smooth, not toothy at all. It's almost too smooth that it's like slipping through my hands, and I don't want to tension the yarn any more than I am because I tend to overdo it and hurt my wrist and hands. So I'm really, I started to get used to it, but it was quite a switch. And this is just one skein makes a full pair. So I'm working on a vanilla sock. This is the first sock, just a cuff down. I'm about to start the heel. I like to do my measurements in terms of my own body parts so I can easily, like without bringing a tape measure with me. So the cuff, I did the length of my pinky, and now the leg, I'm doing the length from my thumb to my pinky, which is about 7 inches, and I'll start the heel flap. And I usually just do a traditional heel flap, turn the heel, like a slip stitch heel flap, and then turn the heel and then pick up the gusset and go. I am yet to try any of the fancy heels. I want to try the Fish Lips Kiss heel, but I just haven't purchased the pattern yet or learned how to do it. So sometimes I like just something I know how to do too. So I like learning new things, and sometimes I like just doing things I know. So it was funny because I brought this project with me to get my oil changed today, and I swear the entire dealership staff came by at one point or the other to say, "What are you making?" And they were so flabbergasted that I could do all these stripes and patterns. And yeah, I was like, it's the yarn, but thank you. Also, it was funny because most of them were men. There was one woman, and she was wearing this gorgeous lime green bobble vest. It was cables and baubles, and it was beautiful. And I noticed it right away when she walked by, and she came back over to see what I was making. I don't know if she was a knitter or not, but I told her, and she thought that she thought I had multiple colors, and I just let her know, no, it's the self-striping ball. And she actually, I think, took an interest in what I was doing, but the other people, I don't know if it's just like because I'm leasing my car from there that they were being friendly, or they were coming over because they were really interested. But when I told them it was a sock, they all just seemed kind of like, oh, like why would you be knitting a sock? I guess that's just a knitter thing. We do that. So that's all that I finished and all that I'm working on, and I want to show you a couple of books that I got recently. I have yet to make things from them, but for one. So let's get started with the books. So for my birthday, I received the Amigurumi Christmas by Sarah Jane Hicks, and this is a UK style crochet ornaments book. Ornaments and little figurines and things. They are just really cute. I really like the style of them. I really enjoyed that some of them seem very British. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you if these are part of your Christmas traditions. But I would never have thought of carrots as a Christmas thing, except I was thinking maybe because you feed the reindeer the carrots. But those are the cutest carrots. And then pigs in blankets. I thought that was a pretty unique Christmas thing. Not wrong, but not something I would have necessarily thought of knitting to hang on or crocheting to put on the Christmas tree. Mince pies, which are so cute. They are some Brussels sprouts. So I really love them. I love them all. They're adorable. I started, because I received this, my birthday's in December, so I received this a couple of weeks before Christmas, so I did get a chance to make a Santa Claus. And let me see if I can find him. My Santa looks like he's wearing a fake beard. I don't know why. It's just, I think I pinned it too low or sewed it too low on his chin. But that's what he should look like. And I don't have him with me because he's at work, but I will put up a picture so you can see him. And I started Mrs. Claus, and she's in a project bag somewhere and may linger there for 10 months or so. But this is really cute, and I look forward to having this for the whole Christmas season so that next year I can make some other little guys. I love making cute little crochet things. Just for me to give away, doesn't matter. I enjoy it. The next item that I got was Knits for Kitties. So this was from my mom and my dad, and I have two cats, Mojo and Moira, and these are all knits for cats. So you can make a grasshopper, a desert snake, bumblebees. I'll only show you one more. I won't show you everything in the book. But I am excited about this for multiple reasons. A lizard. Ooh. Leaping lizards. Okay, so I'm excited for this for multiple reasons. One is I love my cats and I don't make them things usually because they eat them. But I know you'd have to definitely supervise them while they're playing with these things, because one of my cats really likes to eat yarn. Like, she'll just sit there and chomp down on something, a project if I leave it out, or just yarn that she finds on the floor. So I have to be really careful. So I want to knit them something because I think I'll be more motivated to play with them with the toy. One of my cats, Mojo, really loves to play with toys. And is kind of a bully about it. Like, he won't leave you alone until you play with him. So I think this will be a fun way to get to play with them. I'll put some catnip inside. The other reason that I'm really excited about this book is because I would like to bust my stash. That's one of the things I want to do this year. I won't call it a goal or a resolution. I'll call it a goal. It's a goal of mine to use up a lot of what I have. I'm not saying I won't buy new yarn, but I think this kind of project is perfect for using up bits because there's small parts and it doesn't take much to put any of these together. And they'll be quick. So I'm really excited to make some of these just to see if the cats actually like them. It would be funny if I made these toys and they never touched them, but they'll go after like my hand knit sweaters and things. Funny, haha. And finally, the last book that I have to share with you is The Nightmare Before Christmas. This is a kit. I've already opened it, but it's kind of comes like this. Except the book would be on the inside of the box. And it includes 12 patterns and the yarn to make Jack and Sally. So this was from my boyfriend, Jack. And he is Jack Skellington. So it's funny because we've been together many, many years, and he always has been collecting Nightmare Before Christmas and loves Nightmare Before Christmas. We'll listen to the music and stuff. And it wasn't until this year that we realized we had never seen the movie together. I had never seen the movie at all. I thought I had, but once I watched it, I realized I didn't. Either I like fell asleep during the movie or just never saw it. So we watched it together actually on Christmas Eve, and I thought, oh, this is a fun new tradition that we started. It's a really cute movie. A little bit weird, but that's kind of my style. So I'm excited about this, and I don't think it needs to wait until Halloween or Christmas for me to get into it. I didn't get to start anything yet, but I'm looking forward to it. They are really cute. The designer here is Ilaria Kaleri, if you're interested. The last knitting related thing I want to talk about today is what I'm excited to cast on for, and that is the Love and Laughter Shawl by Katie DeGroff Knits. Let me take this out of here so you can see what colors I'm going to be doing. This I purchased from the Golden Pearls at the New Jersey Fiber Festival. And this should be the kit that I need, everything I need to make the Love and Laughter Shawl, which is very colorful, rainbowy. These are Rainbow Mini Set, 4-ply sock yarn. It's SW Merino wool. Superwash. Why was I thinking Southwest? Superwash merino wool and nylon, and it's 20 grams or 92 yards in each mini. And then this is This is also a 4-ply sock and same base, and this is 100 grams, which is equivalent to 463 yards. And this color, what do they call this color? I don't know if this is the color name, but I think the color name is I'm Old, I'm Supposed to Be Colorful. So anyway, there it is. So I'm excited to get started on this. Sometimes when I find myself kind of stalling out on different projects, I like to do something that's part of a kit where I don't have to think at all. Oh, I never showed you my fingerless mitts. Okay, we'll have to save that for next time. I did finish one more thing. When I said kit, I remembered because it was a kit. So that's what I'm hoping to cast on for very soon, though I do need to finish the socks because those are on a deadline. Maybe I'll finish one sock and then I'll cast on, and then I'll kind of bounce back and forth. All right, so I wanted to share with you before we say goodbye 2 additional things. This is a new segment, this one. It's going to be a recipe of the week. So this week's recipe is smoky lentil stew, and I found this recipe on the Big Mess. Is that what it's called? No, the First Mess blog. Oh no. Anyway, it was really easy to put together. Basically, you take your onion, celery, carrots, chop, 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 throw them on the medium heat to saute for a while. Then you add your garlic and you add vegetable stock, balsamic vinegar, which gave it a really nice flavor. I have some really fancy balsamic vinegar. And then you add your lentils and your, I think it was, paprika. That's where you get the smoky flavor from. So a couple other things here and there. And I made it last weekend, and I put 2 big servings in the fridge and 2 in the freezer. So it's lasted me a while. I still have some in the freezer to take out. And I served it over fluffy quinoa. So that's my recipe that I'm sharing with you this week. And finally, I wanted to share with you a book recommendation. So this is a book I listened to. I've been getting back into listening so that I can do my knitting while I'm reading. And I listened to Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. And she's a debut author. This is a love story between Lewis and Ren, and they are newly married and just starting their married life when Lewis faces a diagnosis that none of them were expecting. The twist here, I'm notorious for not reading anything about a book and just jumping in. I kind of like the surprise. So if you're like that, then thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time. Otherwise, I'll tell you what the surprising thing is, but you would know it from if you just pay attention at all to it. But the surprising thing to me was that he had a mutation. And this particular mutation was one that turned him into a great white shark. So his mutation was called Carcharodon carcharias. And that's the scientific name for a great white shark. So slowly over time, he started to transform, and it took a toll on Ren, it took a toll on himself, and on their marriage. So it was just kind of wild and wacky, but also very realistic in a sense. Not the exact diagnosis, but just what was going on in their lives and how they dealt with it and how they felt about these changes and felt about each other. My favorite character in this, let me see if I can remember her name. I've forgotten her name, but there's a character in this that comes along later in the book that reminds me so much of Dory from Finding Nemo. Just kind of that personality and sense of humor. So I recommend it. I only gave it 3 stars, to be honest. Sometimes I think I rate audiobooks just a little bit lower because I don't tend to listen as well as I read on the page. That's situational, but I don't do like long commutes anymore, so I don't have that chunk of listening that I think you really need to get into a book. But I wanted to share it with you in case you thought it sounded interesting. I really enjoyed it, and I would read another book by that author. So there you have it, Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. Habeck, that's it. All right, so that's it for today, folks. Thanks for sticking around. Tune in next week because I will be doing my 2024 Make 9. I heard about this from Leslie's channel, the Knit California podcast. And what it is you choose 9 patterns or 9 things that you want to make in the new year. So I'm working on my list this week. I would love to hear what's at the top of your list, if you have such a list, or if you want to just tell me what you're excited to make this year. I would love to hear it. So thanks again for stopping by. If you enjoyed yourself, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!